Okay, here we go, Kicking Dust Part 3. So, this is just going to be some general squad footage. This is some, well, let's face it, I hate to use the term, this is ownage in its purest form. It just sounds wrong me saying that. Anyway, this was a really good match we had, where basically we just had a good squad, everybody was kind of there, and really everybody was just kind of in the zone, let's say. So really what we were doing here is, this is a simple capture the points style map. If you're not familiar with how Dust works, in these particular maps it's all about controlling missile silos that then fire on the MCV, the mobile control vehicle, or whatever it's called, that thing that's rather pendulous in the air. And really it's about kind of controlling the points so the missiles hit that. It's, you know, capture the flag, really, I guess. Well, no, it's not capture the flag, it's capture the points. Do you know what I mean? So it's, you know, I think they just did a copy-paste on some of the Unreal Tournament kind of ideas, but it works well. So what we're doing basically is just rolling around. I'm still in a heavy suit at this point. I do migrate away from this after a while because, you know, it is a bit kind of cumbersome, but I do like the minigun. I think the minigun's particularly amusing. And as you can see, we kind of capturing the points, and really, you know, this is a great example of where, you know, working as a squad, you can kind of, you know, cover the bases and cover each other, because as you'll see there, another squad has just come in on a vehicle, and they're now hitting us. So this is prime squad v squad footage, and as you can see, I'm getting owned. Grenades are particularly good in this game. They do kind of change and chop them around a little bit, but as you can see, you know, the minigun is just, you know, it's all about putting a wall of lead in the air and owning. So there's a laser there. You can see, I'll see one of my colleagues, PAs, using his laser and destroying vehicles. Now, you get points in the game, so you see here every kill gets 50 points, you know, kill assists get 30 and so on, and really it's all about kind of increasing your ISK, your experience you gain, your ISK you gain, and so on. But you know, the premise is pretty simple. You're rolling around trying to capture points. So, you know, you don't need a degree in rocket science to really kind of play this game, nor should you. It really is about having some good fun. So, with this particular one, obviously the kind of weighting is you're supposed to be kind of keeping at least 2 of the 3 under your control. So really, you know, again, it's simple as it gets. It's all about capturing bases and keeping your MCV alive. As you can see, there's kind of indicators on the top left. You've got shield and then armor, and then, well, hull and armor. And as when those basically drop, that's when the MCV dies, and you know the one team wins. Also, you have a kind of clones to play. So you see where it says 149, 141. That's a number of that's pretty funny. There's a number of clones that you have as well. So after a time, you can actually, you know, be fighting continually, but then run them out of clones, and therefore you win as well. So it is very much based upon. It's not like Planetside, where it doesn't really matter how many times you die. In this, there is actually a problem if you keep dying, or if you have kind of team members or squad members that keep dying, because eventually you could get to the point where you actually don't have enough clones left to fight. So you have to consider that the medic, or rather the medic implements and tools in this are actually quite important, because if you can revive, you save yourself a clone. So that's obviously a pretty useful thing. Vehicles particularly good in this game. So as you can see, we're rolling around in this particular. This is a standard one. It's got a rocket launcher on the back. But again, like Eve, you can fit pretty much anything to this. So you can have some quite interesting, you know, mixtures of, you know, shield boosters, and you can even put clone VAT bays on this. So basically, you can actually clone back into the vehicle and the dropship as they're flying around, which is just, well, it's just awesome, isn't it? So, as you can see, we're actually losing this battle as it goes. Our MCV is taking more damage than theirs. I think this may just be because there's only really us versus, you know, our squad of 4 versus quite a few others. But the tide does turn later on. But, you can see they've got tanks out as well. So, you know, tanks are pretty tough things. I'm going to be honest with you. They're bloody annoying, to be honest, because tanks can really mess you up. You also can take out tanks quite easy, but it's not like Planetside where it's actually quite easy. Tanks in this actually are pretty difficult to kill. They do change them, and certainly recently I think they've become a bit less, you know, kind of death-like. But as you can see, really it comes down to, you know,
capturing the points, trying to keep away from stuff like tanks, because obviously they'll just blap you with one shot. But yeah, we're kind of losing this. You can see the tanks there rolling up. I think we might have just destroyed it, actually. I think somebody had an anti-tank fit. The forge gun is a anti-tank weapon. If you think of it, it's like a giant railgun, basically, that you have to charge and then fire, and it'll hit a particular part of ground, and then there's a splash damage with it as well. So if you've got, but the thing is, they're very high skill requirements. So man, look at that. There you go. That's what happens when you get blapped. Easy as that. But the forge gun is a particularly useful thing, and to be honest, it is the anti-vehicle everything. So if you've got a forge gunner in the squad, if you see a kind of tank or dropship focus from the enemy, you can basically drop that in. And again, probably no different to any other game. There is this I guess counter for everything. So you know, if you're in a dropship, you could be shot down by a forge gun. If you're in a tank, the same. If you're a sniper, you can basically be kind of countered and run around and so on. So you know, I think there really isn't an I-win fit in this. Although some people quite like lasers, but that's, you know, that's perfectly cool. Oh, for some reason I can't spawn a vehicle there. What's going on? No one. And I think, you know, you have to kind of build fits. It's a bit of an ethereal concept, because it's like EVE, where every suit, you have to think of your suit as a ship. So you actually have to create numbers of ships. You almost like line up, say 20. Well, for example, this heavy suit I've got here, I had to buy the suit, the gun, the modules that fit on it. So it's got like armor, you know, resistance bonuses. It's got movement bonuses as well. And you have to purchase those as modules, and then you have to build your fit. So in essence, you basically kit 50 clones worth of that suit. So when you die, you basically go back into it. You do have standard fits that are basically available all the time and in for infinite, but they're not very good. So it's better just to have a really good fit if you can. And the same with vehicles. You do generally get a standard. This is the standard vehicle you see here, but you know, you can get better. Same with the dropships as well. There's no standard dropship, but you know, there are certain types of dropship which get better as they go. So you can see just absolute carnage, jumping, running, killing, slashing, maiming, raping. No, probably not raping, but you see what I mean. It's a particularly it's a particularly fun game. It reminds me a lot, I guess, of Halo to a degree. Obviously, that's probably what they're trying to do. But I'm a big fan of Halo. Played quite a lot of that multiplayer. We used to sort of, you know, run the warthogs into, you know, kind of enemy points, jump them in the air, then literally jump out as they jump over. And I think there was something very enjoyable about that. But I think, you know, you have to find your niche. So I think currently a lot of the game is all about what guns do you like, what do you get comfortable playing. Some of the guys, PA for example, Princess of Spy, I think he generally plays with assault rifles, but he's pretty good with them. Lord Porter that I play with, he plays with lasers. I think a heavy suit with a laser, and he's particularly good with that. So you know, you kind of find what you're comfortable with. I actually quite like the minigun. I like close range, frantic kind of tank style combat. But again, the minigun is absolutely countered by tanks and stuff like that. So it becomes a bit of a tricky one to really get you know, an effective permanent game with. I'm a big sniper as well. Probably in the next video I'll show you one of my solo snipe videos. You can get easily 10-15 kills and no deaths when you go sniping. And I know it's like sniping, you know, I know it's changed a lot now, but sniping to me is a particularly rewarding thing in this game. It's not an I-win button, because you generally don't kill anybody with one shot. It's like Planetside, where you kind of need two, unless you get a headshot, which is again pretty rare. But I would stress it's you know, it's a particularly good you know, use of the mechanic. As you can see, we're kind of dominating this now. You know, I think we've got the vehicles going, a lot of run and jump action here. Look at that, flank you mofo. I don't even know if they was even shooting anymore, but this is the beauty of the game. It does become really frantic and, oh, just so satisfying getting some red in the eye. Oh yeah. And I think, you know, this is one of the things of the game, is it does have that franticness that I don't think Planetside 2 has, and this is why, you know, I guess there's going to always be that comparator between the two, but I would say Planetside 2's got a different feel to it. It's very much a kind of epic conflict. This has the feeling of almost strike team style conflict. So it's, you know, a smaller team of people. You know, it feels more realistic. It feels heavier. and I think it has a much more rewarding output as well, because, you know, in Planetside 2 all you do is get certificates and buy more stuff. In this, it's actually going to be about loot, it's going to be about salvage, it's going to be about all the things that you know, you get in EVE. So I think it's going to be quite rewarding, indeed. So as you see, kind of maiming and killing. The heavy suit is particularly good. I mean, it's not very good when the armor goes, as you can see here, but it's, you know, I'm getting a lot of kills with this thing, and this is standard. There's no, it's not a particularly, you know, high level minigun. It's just a standard minigun, but yeah, I think it's just the style. Also, just maybe a quick word. One of the things that I found when I obviously started playing this, because it is on the PlayStation, was I tried playing it with the PS3 controller, and it was awful. I hated everything about it. Hated it. And that's because I don't really play much on the PS3. So I know in my other videos, when we've talked about Dust many months ago, I do talk about this. But I think if you are going to play this, down you go, son. Oh, so funny. Anyway, if you are considering playing this, just go and buy yourself a cheap USB keyboard and a very cheap USB mouse. And if you want, do wireless, or if you want Bluetooth, if you're feeling flush. But a standard USB mouse and keyboard will work. Just plug them into the front of your PS3. If you have a controller, you may have to then do a Bluetooth headset, because, you know, if you've got a USB headset, you can't have 3 slots. I think you can get expansions and stuff, but you know, who could be bothered with that? So, you know, if you've got 3 peripherals that are USB, you need one of them to be wireless, but that can be a keyboard or a mouse. You could do Bluetooth as well. So, and then what you'll find is that you're infinitely more accurate if you're familiar with PC gaming. If you're not, then I'm probably talking stuff that will enrage you, and you'll go, you know, mouse and keyboard, that's cheating. In which case, I'll probably agree with you, because it is phenomenally easy to aim with a mouse. But I don't care if I kill you and you're using a controller and I'm using a mouse and keyboard. Well, that's your choice and that's my choice. But I hear what you say, and I do understand your argument. But for this, I think, because a lot of EVE players are obviously going to come from the PC, aren't they? So I think, you know, you have to kind of make the game work for you. And if you like controller, then great, all power to you. I know PA and Laporta actually use controllers, but they've obviously played more on PS3 than I have, so I think they're just good with it. But for me, I preferred the mouse and the keyboard, and it was pretty good, actually. I think, you know, you can certainly, it just feels like playing a PC FPS, to be honest. So we're now sat underneath their spawn location. That's the enemy NCV above us, and basically we're just kind of blobbing them, I guess you could say. We're zerging them, if that's the right term. Every time they drop from the ship, we're just basically underneath here killing them. And we've got somebody on the turret as well at some point, just kind of flailing into the thing. Now, interestingly enough, you used to be able to shoot into the MCV's shield, and it would actually kill somebody inside. The splash damage actually worked inside. So that was always quite fun. But yeah, you can see, just basically just killing. Awesome fun. And this is horrible. When it happens to you, believe me, it's horrible. You see there, I think we're going to kill that guy there, because he's just stood by the shield like an idiot. And basically you do take splash damage. It's not a lot, but it's enough to kind of make you retreat. But yeah, this is probably the worst it can possibly be. And this is, like, if you look at the score, we're actually kind of swinging the tide now. We've got all 3 locations. And we've got a number of their squad basically, you know, hemmed up within the MCV, and every time they drop out, we're rattling them with lead. So I know it's horrible, but, you know, it's nice to be on the other side of this, because I've been on the receiving end of this far too many times. So I show this footage just so you can appreciate how horrible it is. But I'd like the concept of it, and I think I'm interested to see maybe how the bridge between the two will go, because it would be good if you could actually kind of move mercs in EVE using these MCVs, and actually then, you know, see them go planetside and have your armada in orbit, basically, you know, shooting back from space. I think I'm really excited to see how that will go, and I'm going to do a few videos of it because it's obviously now in the game. So I'm going to basically line some of those up, and I'll just again repeat: if you're looking for any a Dust Corp, look to join the Unholy Legion of Darkstar. That's PA's the CEO of it, so he's always playing. He's very good at this, so he can help you. But I would stress, don't play this alone. It's a horrendous game to play on your own. And I think, you know, there's plenty of good squads out there who are playing this. You know, try and join one, because look at what we're doing here. We're only really able to do this because we've got a squad of 3, I think, here. basically just keeping them hemmed in, and you know, I think it's really the only way to play, to be honest with you. And I think really, again, just, you know, kind of looking at these kind of missions as well, I think it's going to start mainly as factional warfare. So that's my phone. I think it's going to continue as factional warfare generally. So you know, I don't think it'll be some time before. Oh man, that's not good. So yeah, they came to deal with us. That's pretty funny. Probably going to actually kill us, I imagine now. But I think that's the best thing about this game, is that, you know, look, we forced a reaction. I think there's just something really awesome about that. So yeah, I think, you know, particularly when you look at what they're trying to do with this game, I think this is why, you know, a lot of people are saying, no, it's going to be a run-of-the-mill FPS and it's going to fail. Well, I still think the unique, you know, the unique selling point of this game is the fact that it's going to be linked to EVE, you know, and I do think there's going to be something quite, you know, awesome about that, because you're going to have something really special in that, you know, I could be fighting this right now on the ground, and right above me now in the same comms and on the same T-speak or whatever it may be, I can actually be saying, right, I need a enemy strike, I need to clear out this objective here, and so on. And I just think there's some really that's funny. I just think there's some really good kind of you know, epic play to be had here. So you know, I think it's going to be quite cool. As you can see, we're kind of dominating this as well. I mean, their clones are down to 67, we've got 112, so, you know, I think, yeah, it's pretty much, you know, good night Susan, I think, here. I think they're trying to take back point C, but I think, you know, it's kind of unlikely now that they can recover this. They could, actually, looking at the timers, I guess. They're losing their MCV's hull pretty quickly, but, don't know, not likely. Some of the fallbacks of the minigun as well is not particularly good at range, so if somebody popped out now from behind one of these rocks, I probably wouldn't be able to kill them, whereas an assault rifle would really take me down. I think some of the things like the laser as well, the laser is terrible up close. You need to get a bit of range on it. But I think, you know, really, you know, I would stress there's so much here for you to explore and have fun with, you know, in terms of the fits. You could spend all day just literally mastering the fits. So it's like EVE, you've got that really lovely, you know, concept of, right, what's the I win fit today? And it could be, you know, a shield tanking or a shield charging, blah, blue, whatever, but I think that's the best thing about it. Grenades are particularly horrible. As you can see, that really hurt me there. Let's hurt him back. Awesome. And I think, you know, there's something very kind of satisfying about it as well when you get the odd kill. Oh man, my bro didn't come pick me up. Yeah, he did. As you can see, trucks and vehicles are particularly good in the game. You need to really have a, you know, you need to understand how they operate, because to be able to kind of move quickly around the map is absolutely vital. We'll do a spotlight maybe on some of the tanks and vehicles later, but I think these early videos in the series, because believe me, you're going to get a lot of videos in this series, because, you know, we've played this game so much. Oh, there we go, orbital strike. Kaboom. We'll show you more of that orbital strike as well, but they're basically orbital strikes you can call down from space. They were at this point NPC driven, but I think the future is that they're going to be actually driven from the ships in orbit that you can basically call down upon to fight for you. So you know, I think that's going to be awesome. But yeah, we'll do a fair few spotlights and we'll look at some of the different functions. But I just think this game is amazing, and I think it's going to be a good game. And I think don't be a negative Nelly about it. I think you need to kind of give a bit of faith to things like this, because otherwise, if everybody just says no, it's going to be crap, well, it will be, because no one's going to buy it, no one's going to support it, and, you know, as a customer, you know, we have to kind of get behind certain products and show some interest, because otherwise CCP, they're a business. If the numbers don't stack up for this, they won't make it. So you know, I really do hope that a lot of people stop the negativity. This isn't going to impact EVE in any way. This isn't going to be, you know, like all of a sudden the mercs can dominate your EVE experience. It won't be like that. It's going to be, you know, and probably vice versa. Rather than shooting down at the planet and us shooting back, and maybe an economy that's linked, I don't think there's going to be anything too sinister about the two games in parallel. I think you should just embrace the fact that it's going to be, you know, a richer, deeper experience. And, you know, if you play EVE and you love EVE, then surely the thing that you want to happen is you want EVE to survive. Because let's face it, in, you know, in modern times, and, you know, downturn and such, you have to kind of get behind products and companies that you want to support. And it's like in the UK, HMV has just gone bust, and everyone's saying what a shame it is, but yet no one ever shopped there. And this is the problem. It's like, you know, everybody can always say what a shame it is a certain brand or chain go under, but you know, if people don't get behind it and show their support and literally buy their products, then you know, what do they expect? And I think that's certainly the case with this. Is, you know, this is a CCP product. I think it's a great product, and I think even now it's showing some amazing promise. And I would stress, if you want a richer EVE experience, this is the kind of project you need to get behind. But there we go. That's how it is. So we won this round. The MCV was destroyed. You do get greeted with a footage at the end to say your skill points and income and so on. The more kills you get, the more income you get, so got a fair few risk there. And any salvage, you can actually salvage some pretty good stuff. And hey, look at that, 16 kills, 2 deaths. My kill death rate